We will throw it over to Terry Bell for today's community comment.
Thank you very much, Jake Hayes. This is Community Comment, and there are a lot of things happening around Beaver Dam that citizens take upon themselves to get initiated, and we're going to spend the next hour talking about that with Jim Bradley. He's with the Hometown Plan Committee, and if you are not familiar with their work, you may be familiar with some of the things that they have been able to do throughout the community that you will probably recognize. We're going to talk about that and plans, big plans for a proposed plaza on the riverfront downtown that would be home to many of Beaver's favorite events. If you'd like to join the conversation, you can call or text us at 920-887-9595 or call us here at the studio at 920-885-4446. Jim Bradley is a spokesperson for the Hometown Plan Committee. And Jim, thanks and welcome to Community Comments.
Thank you very much. I appreciate being here.
Tell us a little bit about the Hometown Plan Committee for those who are not familiar.
Well, a couple years ago, the city is tasked every 20 years or so to put together a new comprehensive plan. This means that this is where we're looking to take our community. This is legislated by the state legislature so that we are aligned with the local community with our growth, where we anticipate going, and lays a foundation for the future of a community. So the Common Council at that time decided it was best to go outreach into the community and start a community-based process. The process was basically bringing a number of people from the community together in different committees to be able to analyze different aspects of the Beaver Dam community in terms of economics, in terms of roads, in terms of recreation, in terms of downtown development, and for a variety of reasons. So the Community Action Committee, as I call it, the Community Action Plan, whatever, was developed through this process. We had weekly, bi-weekly meetings that lasted for probably about 6 months. And so each of the different committees brought forth their recommendations. And those recommendations were very extensive. Over time, those were refined down to probably about 74 different recommendations for the community. These were then identified as short-term, mid-term, and long-term goals for the community. So some of the short-term goals are in the process. We're just starting the midterm process with what the downtown plaza, if you want to call it, would be. Short-term was like putting new signages up in the community on the entrance, trying to increase our the identification logo, if you want to call it. So those were just completed this last week, I believe, both up on North Highway 33, 33, on Park Avenue right by McDonald's, and then another one down south. And so those have been completed, and that's part of the short-term plans. So then we are starting to work on some of the midterm plans, or a little bit longer term, the short-term plans, and that includes bicycle routes, but also the downtown plaza is a midterm plan, but we know it's going to take quite a while to get it accomplished if the community supports it.
Right. Talking about the plaza then, what sorts of need is there that the committee feels the plaza could help meet?
Well, basically the community identified that there is no place downtown to come together as a community. If you've attended like the farmer's market, it's in a parking lot across the street from UGA. And that's a problem because that property is split ownership. Part of it's owned by the title company, part of it's owned by the city, so it really doesn't make a very conducive place to hold the farmer's market. Also, there's no shade. There's a lot of other problems when you're dealing with that. So it's the farmer's market. And a few weeks ago, Taste of Wisconsin occurred. I've been at that both of the last 2 years as a volunteer, and it is hot. You're on a parking lot. There's no shade. There's no bathrooms. It's just, it's a great event, but it's not a great location for it. It doesn't, they're not very conducive. Similarly, in the past years, and again this year, it's like the Arts and Peony Festival. Well, it was held up on Maple Street. You block off a street, there's no shade, there's no cohesiveness, and we're just looking at trying to provide a place where we can draw people from out of the area and locals to these events and make it more pleasant and make it more desirable for other people to attend over time. Plus, we also, as part of our analysis, found that the watermark needs more space for outdoor activities. And so that was another demand that we saw. So we had initial meetings with the chamber and with the people over at the Watermark, and we continue to have conversations with them, asking them what they would like to see and what they would like to be able to benefit from if something was developed.
So the Watermark, as you mentioned, would be right next door to this proposed development.
Yeah, well, when we looked at the various potential locations downtown, looking first, of course, at city property, so that way it would be less onerous in terms of cost, but there was nothing that was really that relevant. People will know that there is a parking lot at the southwest corner of Center and Maple, which is owned by the city, I believe, and that was looked at. But that's not downtown, that's away from downtown. It doesn't benefit from any of the infrastructure that's already been put in place along the river. We looked at putting it over existing parking lot, but then we're tearing out existing costs that the community already paid for. So we identified this property literally that fronts on Center Street, just immediately north of the Watermark, as being a potential place for this kind of a development. This is identified in the Community Action Plan as a potential, if you look at some of the mapping, as a potential for where the farmers market would be. So based upon that and understanding the needs of the community, we sort of identified here. Other reasons we looked at it is we did some research as to other communities around the area that have downtown plazas or have done stuff. And the best example we had was just recently opened, was in Watertown. They went in and they literally took down a block of old buildings right at Main and Main, basically, right next to the water, the Rock River, I believe, and they just developed a new plaza there. Their goals were different than ours necessarily, but it gave us an indication of how a community can come together to support a beneficial place for the community to come together for activities and events in the downtown area.
We have much more to talk about with Jim Bradley, that is, of the Hometown Plan Committee. Sorry, Jim.
No problem.
We're going to take a break here and be right back on Community Comment on 95.3 WBEV, powered by Daily Dodge.
Step into a world so fine, shiny floors that truly shine, tiles and wood you'll adore, get it all at Professional Floor. Showers, blinds, counters too, everything just like brand new. They've got what you're looking for, only here at Professional Floor.
Okay, full disclosure, we still don't sing here, but since I've got the mic, let me drop some knowledge. At Professional Floor Covering, we've got the best brands and styles for every project. Whether you're looking for cabinets, blinds, flooring, or more, we're here to make your home look amazing. Check out our showroom to explore our wide range of luxury vinyl plank flooring. Need a bathroom makeover? We've got custom marble and ceramic showers and countertops to elevate your space. And if you're thinking kitchen upgrade, our cabinet and porcelain tile selection is top notch. Take a look online at proflr.com and stop in to visit us at 713 Park Avenue. Time to hand the mic back.
This fall, there's only one place to be, Camp Randall Stadium. Wisconsin football returns with can't-miss matchups, including Maryland, Iowa, Washington, and more. From the first touchdown to jump around in the celebration of the fifth quarter. Experience the traditions and unforgettable memories that make Wisconsin football so special. Single-game tickets are now on sale. Lock in your spot today by visiting uwbadgers.com or call 1-800-GO-BADGERS. Wisconsin football game day starts here. We'll see you at Camp Randall.
Save big on everything for your next project when you shop at Menards. Whether you're a bird enthusiast or simply enjoy the sight and sounds of nature, our Enchanted Garden Songbird Supreme Bird Food is a must-have year-round. Get a 20-pound bag on sale now through July 13th. Plus, check out our weekly flyer on menards.com for more great deals happening this week.
Save big
Providing this community beautiful floors and so much more, the team at Professional Floor Covering can't wait to connect with our friends through today's community comment on 95.3 WBEV, powered by Daily Dodge.
It is 95.3 WBEV, powered by Daily Dodge, and we are back with more community comment. Here's Terry Bell.
Thank you very much, Jake Hayes. We're talking about many things today on Community Comment that have to do with the work of the Beaver Dam Hometown Plan Committee, and in particular, a proposed downtown plaza on the riverfront, and it would be the home to the Farmers Market, Taste of Wisconsin, the Arts and Peony Festival, places that have homes right now, but the idea, and it's part of the city's comprehensive plan, is to give these events an aesthetically pleasing surroundings to be in, and draw people from the local area and beyond. So Jim Bradley, thanks again for being with us.
You're welcome.
The idea has been put out there now. You made a proposal to the Common Council the other night, just basically getting alders familiar with what you're up to, and getting their blessing for proceeding.
Well, when you consider the whole committee and the group, there's about 10 or 12 of us now that are focused on this and one of the other aspects of it. We wanted to make sure that we were spending time appropriately. And if the Common Council was not going to be following through and providing reasonable support, and hopefully some point in time some financial support, we weren't going to waste our energy and time doing it. So what we found out from the meeting on Monday with the Common Council, that there is a majority of members there, of aldermen, that are in favor of us going forward. So it's worth our effort to continue.
Very good. And so what are the next steps then? I imagine it's procuring this land. If not the one that's been identified, then you'd have to go to a Plan B, I imagine.
Well, what we have to do is we're going to be putting together, and we met yesterday at another meeting, a committee meeting, to discuss those steps. And the first step that we need to do is to be able to start outreach again to the different entities that are vested or would be vested in this, including the Downtown Development Group, tourism, the chamber, and anybody else that would be involved or considered to possibly be able to be interested in this facility. So we're in the process of putting together a project plan. That project plan will first identify, we've got to get better information, and so part of that is finding out what general cost should be, because that's one of the main concerns everybody says. What's it going to cost? What's it going to cost? And we're going, we don't know yet, because we're just in the initial stages of the process. So the first part of that is to solidify a design, okay? Because you can't really get very good cost estimates unless you have a preliminary design. Mark, one of our members, put together a great design. It has a lot of features that we consider, and from the input of the community, that would be liked, but it's subject to change, and so we're going to start working on that part of it. Back last year, the city did appropriate some funds that have been used to get some of these processes going forward. They allocated $50,000 total, of which $20,000 has been spent on the design and working up a preliminary access plans for safe streets, so that it's a bicycle multi-purpose pass access to Prairie View School, also to the new middle school going in, plus a few other aspects. So that was spent on that. So there's about $30,000 that is there that this Common Council has allocated for other endeavors like this, for planning future projects that conform with the comprehensive plan. So we'll probably be coming back in a few weeks to make a request and per a resolution to get funding to be able to choose a specific consulting company that can help put the real costs together, because without the real cost, we don't know what we're doing. We could estimate it's going to cost $2.5, $3 million. It could cost less. It could cost more. Until we get to that number, we really want to have a good number. That way, we're telling the community what we really know and what's going to go on. We envision this as being part of a public-private partnership. So this is similar to what occurred with the pickleball courts, where the city committed X amount of dollars and the community came forward with others. In Watertown, which is the example I mentioned, a single family came up with $1 million as part of that project, and they got naming rights. So there is a lot of potential for that for a private-public partnership. We would anticipate that this will be owned by the city because that's who is normally normally handles this stuff. But at the same time, we're looking at the Watermark being involved, the chamber being involved, any other downtown groups being involved in the management and long-term success of this project.
Absolutely. Plot of land has been identified next to the Watermark, and right now I understand that most of that, if not all of that land, is privately owned, and there's some questions whether or not it's even for sale.
Well, we know one of the buildings is for sale
Okay.
already, and that is just because of our internal members of the community know other members of the community, and it'll basically the owners of the one property said within the next 2 or 3 years we'd like to possibly sell. And they've also quoted a price.
Okay.
So, but I'm not going to disclose that because it's not necessary here. The other one is an older building, which is not very well utilized right now. So we're looking at this as the best location, and yes, it's going to take some dollars to acquire the property, but there's a lot of potential funding sources for that, and specifically in the downtown area, I think we can look at the city using like TID money, TID 6 money, possibly to do the acquisition, and then go forward from that with other sources of funds. In addition, as this is being designed, and we can go into the design if we need to, we're going to be looking at a lot of the costs will be to put up these shade canopies, weather canopies, and they're going to be fully solarized. So this will be generating should be generating positive income to the property over time from the solar panels.
This is a good time to point out, since we are on the radio, for the most part, some people are watching a stream. We don't have a lot of visuals here. But if we can paint a picture in the listener's mind, so to speak, as to what this might look like, and the fact that you just alluded to, the rooftops for much of this would actually be solar energy panels.
Correct. As everybody knows, many times when you're designing something, you look for other people for other examples. Deerfield down south in Wisconsin has recently put up a solar canopy similar to what we're proposing. And it really provides a lot of benefits, not only to the community, it's next to their community center, but it also provides shade, it covers parking, and it provides an outdoor space which is not exposed to the weather as much. And so what we're looking at on the design, I mean, you had it you published it the other day, didn't you? The basic picture?
Yes.
Okay.
It looks like it's 3 sides of a rectangle.
It's basically a U-shaped property where both of the arms of the U are the solar panels. These are about 40 feet wide, about however long they need to be, probably anywhere from 100. This site will handle about 150 feet. And in the middle of the end of it, which is where the covered pavilion area would be reminiscent of stuff like in Swan Park, like the older buildings there. It would reflect a very classy, historic look to the property. So each of the side wings, if you want to call that, would provide covered area for vending, for people to congregate, to move around, like at the Arts Festival or at the Taste of Wisconsin. They could do that, and they wouldn't be in the shade, or if it's raining, they would be covered, and it would be much more weather conducive than to any place currently any of these are held. The central pavilion, we're looking at having a small area that faces an interior grass space that would provide for a small venue for people to discuss, to put on little performances, or for the moderators or whoever's doing and going on there. In between these arms and the pavilion would be a new grass area. And that grass area would extend down towards the river so that it ties in with not only the river, but also the Rotary Park green space across the river on the east side.
So shade and grass would be preferable to, wide open asphalt or concrete.
Concrete. Underneath the canopies, of course, it will be concrete. But yes, and by choosing this location, we're not taking out any current existing parking in the downtown. It would be complementing, we would be better utilizing both of the parking, both to the north of the site as you're going towards Front Street or across the river next to Rotary Park. These would all feed into this facility through the two pedestrian bridges that are already there. So we're basically looking at placing this where it utilizes all the connections from the watermark, the river, the bridges, the parking that's in place. So this, for us, is a good location, and the design we've come up with will be tweaked, but we think it provides what most of the community has input they would like to see.
We're going to take a break for the news and be right back on Community Comment on 95.3 WBEV, powered by Daily Dodge.
Mall kicks and throws home. Squaring to bunt, lays it down. It's a beauty. They go home. They go to first. No outs anywhere. A base hit bunt for Christian Yelich to make it 5-3. Goes De La Cruz. Pitches high. Throw to second is in time. William Contreras cuts down the MLB Steals leader.
This is Jeff Levering. Your home for Milwaukee Brewers baseball is 95.3 WBEV.
At Marshfield Medical Center Beaver Dam Orthopedic Clinic, advanced care meets personalized expertise. Their team of skilled general and specialty orthopedic surgeons is dedicated to helping you move better, offering both surgical and non-surgical solutions. They specialize in hip and knee replacement, as well as joint revision, shoulder replacement, foot and ankle reconstruction, and hand and upper extremity care. Call 920-219-4009 today or visit marshfieldclinic.org/beaverdam to learn more.
Still broadcasting comfortably from the Slumberland Furniture Studio. You're listening to 95.3 WBEV, powered by Daily Dodge.
ABC News, I'm Sherry Preston. A federal judge in New Hampshire says he will certify a class action lawsuit, including all children who will be affected by President Trump's executive order ending birthright citizenship. The judge also says he'll issue a preliminary injunction blocking that order. The number of people killed in Texas flooding remains 120, and the search for those unaccounted for continues, says Police Sergeant Jonathan Lamb.
The response here in Kirk County continues to expand as the mission becomes more technical. There's more than 2,100 responders on the ground here from state, local, and federal agencies working to reunite victims with families.
At Wimbledon, American Amanda Anisimova has upset number one seed Aryna Sabalenka to reach her first Grand Slam final. The original Birkin bag that gave birth to fashion's most must-have accessory selling at auction today in Paris for more than $8 million. This is ABC News.
Award-winning news you can count on. WBEV.
WBEV News, I'm Terry Bell. Members of Wisconsin's Urban Search and Rescue Task Force are helping search efforts in flood-ravaged parts of Texas. People from across Wisconsin with specialized training skills make up the task force. 5 task force members and 3 specially trained dogs left for Texas on Tuesday. Plans for a large new data center in Beaver Dam are moving forward. Governor Evers signed a bipartisan bill into law yesterday, creating an exemption for tax increment District Number 10. The TID will support attracting a new data center. The project would be on a 502-acre site along County Highway A. A Beaver Dam man is charged with 10 felony counts of possessing child pornography. A criminal complaint says in April, a Beaver Dam police detective found evidence that Nicholas Nowicki was chatting about and uploading videos of illegal sex acts with children on a social media app. Police arrested Nowicki on Monday. Homicide is on the rise in Milwaukee. There have been 69 homicides in Wisconsin's largest city so far this year. Last year at this time, there were 61. Mayor Cavalier Johnson says too many criminals have access to guns. Auto thefts and carjackings have gone down from last year. I'm Terry Bell, reporting from the Daily Dodge News Center. Submit your news tips at dailydodge.com.
Slight chance for storms today, otherwise cloudy skies with a few peaks of sun. Daytime highs approaching 83. Southerly winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. Chance for storms tonight, lows dip down to about 63. Cloudy skies expected. Chance of thunderstorms tomorrow, daytime highs approaching 86. Cloudy skies expected. I'm meteorologist Jennifer Wojcicki on 95.3 WBEV, powered by Daily Dodge. Right now, it's 73 degrees.
Are you aware of who's making your healthcare decisions? Hi, this is Dr. Adam Forster with Columbus Family Dental. Healthcare is a very personal thing that requires careful thought and planning. These choices should be made by you and your doctor, not an administrator or an insurance company. At Columbus Family Dental, we're a local, doctor-owned clinic, which allows us to put your health and well-being first. Call us today at 623-5559 to schedule a free, no-pressure consultation to see if we're the right fit for you.
This year at the Dodge County Fair, fun takes the limelight at a brand new stage. See the new state-of-the-art WDS stage at the Good Karma Brands Park, presented by Newman Pools. And the Dodge County Fair, August 13th through the 17th, for 5 days of fun, music, games, prizes, and more. During the fair, don't miss the special themes and events for all ages throughout the week. Exciting new great times at the Good Karma Brands Park and Dodge County Fair from Wednesday, August 13th through the 17th. Full event schedule on dailydodge.com.
Slumberland, Beaver Dam, and Watertown. Our anniversary sale is going on, and you can save big with your choice of mattresses. $99, you can get a queen size, twin size, or a full size mattress. Those bed-in-the-box mattresses, you can try them in store with us. Sealy Posturepedics for $399. Choose your softness at $999. Pick firm, medium, or soft. Earn $300 Slumberland cash with select Tempur-Pedic, Sealy, or Stearns & Foster's mattresses. Get 36 months interest-free financing with minimum purchase of $19.99 or more. Save big with us during our anniversary event going on right now on all mattresses.
They keep you informed on the Dodge County landscape. We keep the inside of your home looking great. Professional Floor Covering welcomes you to the next segment of Community Comment on 95.3 WBEV, powered by Daily Dodge.
It is 95.3 WBEV, powered by Daily Dodge, and we are just about to get rolling back here with Community Comment, which is brought to you in part by our friends over at McKinstry's Home Furnishings. And you can visit their website at mckinstryshomefurnishings.com. They have their picture framing services going on right now. McKinstry's Home Furnishings stocks a large selection of picture frame moldings and conservation mattings and glass. This ensures prompt and proper professional framing of your needlework, family photos, wedding pictures, oil paintings, wildlife prints, and award certificates. They've even framed a guitar. Best of all, you will be amazed at the low everyday prices. Let McKinstry's sales designers help you select just the right frame and matting to enhance the beauty of your artwork as well as your home. Take your frameable pieces to McKinstry's Home Furnishings. You will be very happy you did. They are in downtown Beaver Dam on Front Street under the red awning and celebrating their 167-year anniversary. Now, without further ado, we will throw it over to Terry Bell for today's Community Comment.
Thank you, Jake Hayes. We're talking with Jim Bradley of the Hometown Plan Committee about the proposed downtown plaza and a few other things that the committee has been up to. If you have any questions or comments, you can join the conversation by giving us a call or a text at 920-887-9595. You can also call us on the landline at the studio at 885-4446. When it comes to a proposal like this sort of thing, the community discusses it, word gets around, and the first thing that people ask is, how are we going to pay for this? And we talked about, at this stage, it's hard to say exactly how much you will need, but financing is a very important part of this process, and the committee is on it.
Yes. We are, as I mentioned, we are working on trying to get real numbers, which will take a little bit of time. We are also going to put together some preliminary numbers just from our own backgrounds as to what we think, but that's going to be very speculative, if you want to call it that way. From the information that we've derived from what Deerfield did and what it cost to put up their one solar canopy, which cost them about $250,000, and it's a very nice one. It's got a wood post and beam structure, probably a little bigger and nicer than what we need, but we're also going to need a larger structure than what they have. So there's a cost base that we can start from on the two canopies and go up from there. In addition, the central pavilion will be a different cost. We don't know yet on that. We also understand there will be a cost associated with acquiring the property. At the city council meeting on Monday, we had questions derived from how that would occur, and we're in the process of trying to figure that out because we're a private little group of volunteers, and so we have to work with the city to make that happen over time. They're questioning as to what the cost of acquisition will be, and that will always be based upon what a market value is, and that's negotiated between the property owners and the purchasing entity, whatever that is right now. We don't have that structure put together. It would also have to entail whatever the demolition cost would be on those buildings. And then the other question that was brought up is environmental remediation. Well, before anyone would get involved in a property acquisition, commercial property acquisition, historic, they would need to have proper clearances from DNR, I believe, Department of Natural Resources, environmental clearance. So there would probably need to be a phase one accomplished, phase one environmental study, and a phase two probably. And then the costs associated with any remediation would have to be taken into account. And that would be taken into account as part of the negotiation to acquire the properties. So there is a process it's not quick. It takes a while, and you need to make sure all your ducks are in line. You need to make sure the title company and the title is clear. You need to make sure that the ground is appropriate, that there's no soil problems. There's a process that goes through. This is similar to the process that has gone through by the city across the street to the west where the new townhomes are being built, the 26 units there. And so this is a process that the city's aware of, and so is the community and the committee. So those processes are in the process. Will begin in an appropriate time as part of our project plan. We are actively starting to work on these different aspects now that we have the general approval of the Common Council. It is a process, and we're looking for public input as we go through this process. So when we start doing more outreach, which will be happening pretty quick, which with the chamber or the downtown or with Rotary, we would like the community input. In addition, I believe the Daily Dodge will be advertising or letting people know when this comes to the Common Council again for either resolution as to spend any money, like the ARP money that we look at to do the planning, or go down the road. I mean, every citizen has the ability now to also go into it. But in terms of financing, we're looking at this as a public-private partnership. Once we have all the details together and general costs together, then we'll go out and start doing fundraising. Very similar to a lot of projects that go on in Beaver Dam. There is there's money that's put up by the government, and then the community comes up with the rest. This is similar to what's going on right now with the skate park, with the the amphitheater down in Swan Park, and with recently concluded with the pickleball courts. So we are finding that the community is very supportive of these kind of activities, not only with showing up at meetings, but also showing up with their pocketbooks and helping out.
Right. I guess a lot of people listening might been listening to all the line items you mentioned finance-wise. You say this is a public-private partnership. I imagine some people are listening thinking, well, this is going on, my property tax bill. This is not necessarily the case for the whole thing.
Well, there's different funding mechanisms from the city. And like I mentioned before, the TID 6 is downtown. It is specifically set up to be able to finance projects which benefit the community and support redevelopment and revitalization of that area, which is within the TID 6. The TID 6 doesn't really impact property taxes, because it is taking sales tax, which would typically go to the government, and redirects it to this project. So it really would not, if that is used as a financing mechanism, it really would not change should not change a lot of the property tax. I'm not an expert. I just pay my taxes like everybody else. But this is a way for it not to have a big impact on any of the individual property taxations, because I understand property taxes are high in comparison to what some people think.
I think another thing people would be interested in knowing is that the solar canopies would help this project be a net positive financially for the community.
In terms of generating cash, we don't know what it would be yet. I mean, we were asked that question at the council meeting. Well, it's still too early because we need to have the specifics put into place. How large is the canopy and what kind of power is it going to generate? Mark, who did the initial plans, who works over at Newman Pools, he's an architect, design type of guy, indicated that it should generate probably enough power to more than cover its own nut, watermark next door, and then sell power still back to the grid. And unlike a house solar panel grid where you're susceptible to what Alliant Energy tells you they'll pay, the city, if they own it and it's part of it, they have more control over that. So we're looking at it as a positive cash flow. In addition, there will be a little income from rentals and other things, but not a lot.
And again, this will be a focal point for festivals that already exist. And I guess I was curious to know, why necessarily does this have to be downtown? What is the benefit of having this downtown as opposed to some other spot around the city?
Well, we already have some great parks. We have Swan Park, which is beautiful and large, but it doesn't provide a cohesive place for the downtown. And that's what we're looking at trying to do, is bring people downtown for downtown revitalization. Also, it is providing a different kind of a venue for different things. We envision this to be food truck court, whereas the solar is providing power. Instead of the food trucks having to use generators, they just plug in. Same thing with vendors. It makes it so that this will be more than just a daylight use type of place. This will be more of a early morning, late night type of a place to be. It also would provide an ability from the solar to generate energy to be able to provide for what is it called? Glycol water to be circulated on the concrete, so you're not having to deal with snow or rain or any of this other stuff. So it's just it would be a modernist type of a plaza for current needs and future needs, but it would also have a historic design to it.
Yeah, I think if people we'll probably post some pictures on Daily Dodge as soon as we can so people can get a sense of that. And plus, if it's downtown, people won't be just limited to being there. They can wander off and shop and dine and get entertained at existing downtown businesses.
And this provides, if you've ever been downtown at these events, it's during the events, it's the only time the parking is used downtown, and it seems to be short. Well, this is not taking out any parking. This is providing a complement to all of the monies, the millions of dollars that have been spent on the riverfront, on the parking, on the other things to make downtown enjoyable. This seems to be the keystone for really bringing it all together from our point of view.
Very good. Jim Bradley is with the Hometown Plan Committee. We're talking about the proposed downtown plaza and some other projects that we will talk about when we come back on Community Comment on 95.3 WBEV, powered by Daily Dodge.
Unlock big savings while adding style and security to your home with Schlag door locks from Menards. High-quality Schlag Wi-Fi compatible entry locks allow you to lock and unlock your home from anywhere with your phone. Get peace of mind and save big money on all door locks at Menards. Plus, don't forget to check out our weekly flyer on Menards.com for all the great deals happening now.
Save big money at Menards.
Gear up for Quick Trip's Mountain Dew Quick Climb. Now through August 17th, play free daily in the Quick Rewards app and earn bonus plays with every eligible purchase. For example, grab one with hot food, that's 2 bonus plays. Each week, the cash prize climbs by $5,000, all the way to a $250,000 grand prize. So open the app and get climbing. Your summer, your climb, your win. No purchase necessary. See complete details at quicktrip.com/sweepstakes.
Summer deals are heating up at St. Vincent de Paul of Dodge County. From clothing and furniture to housewares and even sporting goods, there's something for everyone. Whether you're updating your space, refreshing your wardrobe, or gearing up for your next adventure, St. Vincent de Paul of Dodge County has you covered. Cool down with hot prices that won't burn your budget. Open Monday through Saturday, 8 a.m. to 7 p.m., right on Dodge Drive in Beaver Dam. Shop, save, support St. Vincent de Paul of Dodge County.
God bless from your friends at St. Vincent de Paul.
At Prairie Ridge Health, our rehab team is here to help you restore mobility, regain independence, and get back to doing what you love. With state-of-the-art facilities and a compassionate team of physical and occupational therapists, we're proud to serve our communities in Columbus, Beaver Dam, and Sun Prairie. Early morning and evening appointments are available. Schedule a visit today at prairieridge.health. Prairie Ridge Health, inspired by you.
Providing this community beautiful floors and so much more, the team at Professional Floor Covering can't wait to connect with our friends through today's community comment on 95.3 WBEV, powered by Daily Dodge.
And with the last segment for today's community comment on 95.3 WBEV, here's Terry Bell.
Thank you, Jake. Oh my goodness, there's the video feed. We're talking about the downtown pavilion, the proposed downtown pavilion, and we have a caller on the line who, is that a caller on the line, Jake? I'm sorry, maybe I'm misreading something.
No, that's okay. That is just a PSA, so that's why that one's turning up white.
All right, I appreciate that. Thank you, Jake. If you would like to join the conversations, though, this has been generating a lot of interest in the community. You can ask a question of Jim by giving us a call at 920-887-9595 or 885-4446. And I don't want to give a lot of oxygen to misinformation, but there seems to be a degree of misunderstanding about what the committee is, what motivates it, what's it going to cost people, and I imagine that's a big part of your job is to get the facts straight about those sorts of things.
Yeah, I've been involved since the beginning of the hometown committee, and so I've seen a lot of the input. I've been to a lot of the meetings, and so I've just continued being active, even though the committee essentially, the main committee, disbanded once everything was brought to the Common Council, and they approved it as part of the comprehensive plan. But anybody can find the comprehensive plan just by going to the Beaver Dam City website, and you can see it's 272 pages long. So it's quite a document. And so we have just, it seems like a core of the people that were involved there have stayed involved. And so there's 5 or 6 people that are really focused on the bicycle path and safe streets to school type of thing. There's another group of another 10 or 12 that are involved a little bit more with the plaza. And we're all just community members. None of us have any vested interest one way or the other involved in this. We don't own any property. We're just community members that want to see Beaver Dam become a better self, better at what we're doing. And we attend these meetings, and we attend these events, and we want to see the community be brought more together and have better identification. And part of the hometown plan was to help better identify Beaver Dam. And the first step of that, the Common Council did go forward on, is the new signage that just went up both on 3 different parts coming into town.
That's right. And that's the logo that people may have seen, very colorful, with a kayaker in the middle. How did that design come to be?
I have no idea. We were involved in that, but if everybody goes downtown, it's on the water tower. And it says, "Life is good. Life here is good. Life here is good." And so, and I agree, having moved here not long ago from another community, I really believe that this is a great place to live. And so being involved for me is part of who I am. And that's what most of these people on the committee are. They live here, their kids are going to school, the kids are in the plays, their kids are involved, but they have generational memory here. Mark, who worked on the initial plans here, goes back to the 1850s and 60s, his family being here. So we're just active people that want to be positively involved in stuff to going forward. Not just for us, but for everybody else in the future.
How are the pickleball courts going over?
Oh my God, I live near there. I live up in the north part, and every time I drive by there, they're so busy. You know, they have what, 9 courts there now or whatever. They originally were going to build 12, but they decided they couldn't fit them or whatever. They're busy all the time. So it has been a great addition to the community. And yeah, it's seasonal. No, you're not out there in the middle of winter, but 7, 8 months of the year, people are out there, and they start at 7 or 8 in the morning, and they go until the lights go off at 10 o'clock at night.
Mm-hmm. A real kind of rallying point for people.
And it's a good community socialization type of thing. It's bringing the community together actively, whereas this new downtown plaza can bring people more together from a broader section of the community, not just the pickleball players.
Mm-hmm. And also the bicycle paths. Talk to us about that.
Well, part of that plan is that we're very familiar that there's the Gold Star Trail that's being planned to come in from the east, from Horicon into the Beaver Dam community. So we have taken that into consideration, but we also looked at that there's no safe way for kids on bicycles to get to Prairie View School. There is no safe way for going across 151 if kids want to go to the Y, let's say. Or in the future, when the middle school gets built, there is no safe way currently to be able to get kids on bicycles or walking pedestrians to that school site without making some changes and modifications and enhancing certain aspects of the infrastructure, the bike infrastructure.
And what's more all-American than kids getting around on bikes?
Absolutely. You look, I look out my window at my house, and there are people on bikes all the time. And so we're trying to make it, the city's done a great job with signing and doing a lot of things and designated routes. But this is the next step, trying to connect some of these through, and with a little bit more emphasis on providing access to the first phase, to provide access to the schools and safety and getting across Highway 151. But then second phase, third phase, which are way down the road, are providing better access along 151 or providing cross-community access down the river, let's say, or going northwest out to Edgewater. So we're working on those plans, but our main focus now is on the 3 core things that we're going to recommend right now, which is accessing the new middle school, which is not a big deal, but it means that we're going to have to put in a little bit of multi-purpose paths to connect public streets on stuff. I don't know all the names of the streets. Mm-hmm. We'll also be looking at going over, possibly recommending that we use Highway E over 151 to provide access, and then develop a multi-purpose path over to Prairie View. And then also tie that same thing in going up to Corporate. So then we can go up Corporate to get to the Y and get to the east side of 151 there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it seems like, feeding into the middle school just makes so much sense.
Right, and it's not a difficult project, but it's just the first stage and one of the main things we're looking at starting on.
Maybe it's not a question you can answer right now, but how far down the road do we see these coming to fruition?
Well, MSA, who's the consultant on this, are now putting together cost estimates. This is the same thing we're going through with the plaza in terms of cost. We come up with an idea, we hire somebody to do a plan, we decide which plans are appropriate, they do cost estimates. So that's where we're at. So we should have that in the next week or two.
And again, this is all part of the city's comprehensive plan. This is a process that's had a lot of public input and a great deal of deliberation. This is not just people just coming up with ideas all on their own and trying to impose them.
Right. No, I have no vested interest, and nobody I know on the committee does, one way or the other. We're just looking out for what we think the community wants to better the community.
If anyone listening would like to learn more or get involved, how would they do that?
Well, we're in the process of setting things up, but you could always contact the city of Beaver Dam, and they can refer you to Todd over there. Knows our numbers and can do that at least initially. You can show up at a public meeting, which will be which will be advertised, and we will more than happy to take your name and get involved. Or you could call me directly, and I'll give you that number. That's 520-906-7237. 520-906-7237. I am just the spokesman for the group. All of this is basically, all of the information I've provided today has been a community effort and a summary of what we've done to date.
Jim Bradley of the Hometown Plan Committee, it's been an hour well spent. Thanks for coming in this morning.
Thank you.
And thank you for listening to Community Comment on 95.3 WBEV, powered by Daily Dodge.
It's the most wonderful time of the year. No, it's not Christmas.